We have a guest, a good friend of mine, a legend in the skateboard world, ladies and gentlemen, Steve Caballero. Motocross extraordinaire.
Hey, Jason.
How's it going?
It's good, man.
I saw you 2 days ago, so it's weird, but I don't really have skateboarders on the show. They don't really come up here because it's San Diego and or it's usually like who was on here? Some like street bum that I am like, yeah, look, I knew you at the DC ramp. We smoked weed together, and he's like, no, we didn't. I'm like, yes, we did. I don't care what you say, but I mean, I've known you. First of all, I knew you. You were still pro. You were pro, and I wanted to be pro when I was a little kid. So you didn't know me, but I knew you. And then I got good enough to be on the same team as you, and then we became friends. I got to be friends, kind of like Michael. You always wanted to be. It's like who do you like? The guy from The Cure?
No.
No, you like the guy
Morrissey?
from The Smiths?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like the singer of The Smiths.
I can totally
And then he's my friend.
Except
Right.
I don't put Band-Aids over my nipples.
Right. Well, we don't know. You don't take your shirt off anymore. But yeah, it's sort of, to me, I remember when I was probably 17. No, that's a lot. 16. Maybe 15. And they came to Australia. And to me, Steve Caballero, the Bones Brigade, Steve Caballero, Tony Hawk, Lance Mountain, Mike McGill, came to Australia, and they were in my skateboard shop who sponsored me. And I knew they were coming because I was sponsored by them, and they told me. And I was just in there, minding my own business, waiting for these people to come. And to me, I used to explain it as, it's like if Elvis was alive, because I feel like Elvis has that thing with everybody. You don't have to be like a musical fan. You can just, you could understand the aura of an Elvis-like person, because that's how much I love skateboarding. To me, the Bones Brigade were Elvis, and they were in the skateboard shop, and I just stood in the corner looking at them, and they were looking at the shop like, oh, here's good skateboards, and oh, here's some t-shirts in there, that's cool. And I'm like, fuck off, there they are. And then they did a demo, and I didn't say anything to anybody. I just kept my cool and just stayed over there. And then I was my father paid $20 for me to be in a contest that was later on that week in Torquay.
88, right?
Yep. And Stevie had a special one-off airbrushed skateboard that had, because he has a dragon logo, because he's Years of Dragon. He just gave me these fucking sweet-ass Caballero socks. Thank you, Stevie.
You're welcome.
Of an airbrushed dragon, so it looked, because the airbrush wasn't out yet, and that was like, he had a skateboard where it wasn't his normal skateboard graphic, so it was hard to understand what he had done to it, but you just knew it was custom. You knew it was a one-off that he had.
Well, I didn't do it. My friend of mine did it. That was an artist.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it looked
he did-
amazing.
Yeah, I just gave him a board, and he's like, hey, let me do some art on it, and he kind of made it like a robotic dragon.
Yeah.
So then the next board that came out was a robotic dragon.
Oh, okay, because everyone probably talked to you about that board, like, what was that? Because that was pretty,
And
that
I
was
think
hot
it's
stuff.
still floating around, and someone owns it. I think I gave it to Lance, and then Lance ended up selling it to someone, so it's in someone's skateboard collection.
Huh. Well, that isn't, to me, that was, these are the things that, they change a boy. I felt like what I saw there was like, some subhuman shit. I couldn't believe what everybody could do. Not everybody there, but I like Stevie and Lance and Tony changed my life forever. Like, seeing them there and seeing the way they could skate, watching them ride this ramp that I'd only ridden a couple times, and watching them adapt to it, and they had, this is in a time where these days I watch videos, because I follow everybody on social media, and I see street skate videos and stuff where I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck? I can't believe these dudes can do this. To the point now where I'm like, because I was a lot more cutthroat. I like things. I don't care what you do. I care about how you do it. So if you can,
I'm the same way.
right?
I'd rather see someone do a trick to the furthest than just do like it, halfway. I'd rather see someone like do a 8-block Smith grind rather than a 2-block Smith grind.
I like clean
Yeah.
stuff done perfectly.
Yeah.
If you spin flipping your mind to the point where I'm like, I'm not even sure which way you took off or which way you landed. I get that's very tricky, but I also think that chess is a really hard game to play. But I ain't watching videos of it. You know what I mean? I can respect the guy that's the best at it, but I don't know why, and that's cool. Other people that are into it, I respect you for being into it. But
I play chess, by the way.
yeah, well, I'm sure you do. You play everything. You do everything. You do everything. Look, I'm not. I just covered myself.
When I'm not posting on Instagram, I'm making moves.
Really? Do you play like computer chess?
I play it on my phone. Yeah.
So you play against other people?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, all the time.
Yeah, I play Furlong actually.
What's that?
Anthony.
Oh, you play Anthony Furlong.
Yeah.
Oh, he's into chess.
Yeah. He's
Okay.
good at it too.
He's good at stuff.
Yeah.
He's good at almost everything he does
loves
too.
turtles. He loves turtles.
But people that he loves turtles. Wait, do you have turtles?
No.
Then why the fuck did you bring that up?
No. When I think of Anthony Furlong, I just think of turtles now.
Yeah, well, every time I hear turtles, all I think of is that they shit their dick out. So it's not. I'm not a huge fan. I don't hate
It
them.
used to be skateboarding and motocross when I thought of Anthony, and then now I just think turtles now, reptiles.
Does he ride moto still?
I don't think he has a bike.
Okay, because he's pretty good too
He's good.
for skateboarders.
Yeah.
You know what I think about when, Jason, you talk about seeing Steve and the rest of the Bones Brigade in Australia? I always think it's really cool when people become famous for something that you couldn't get famous for when they started doing it. You know, I think about that a lot with the first wave of the big UFC fighters and even Dana White.
Mm.
The leap of faith it took that you I'm not saying people don't get into rock and roll or football for the right reasons, but you had to be doing it for the right reasons because you had no idea where this was going to go and how much more fun the fame must be when you're blazing the path of what being a pro skateboarder or a big-time pro MMA fighter could even be.
Yeah. I tried everything, man. I tried football, I tried soccer, baseball, and it just my build being so short and not.
I think you'd be an
small
excellent
kid.
football player.
He's quick.
I just it just nothing clicked, man.
Yeah.
You know, and when even BMX, you know, I tried racing and I was just too short. You know, everyone was a lot taller and a lot quicker. And when skateboarding came into my life, something clicked. Something I felt like this is a path that I could take, and it wasn't really even a path. It wasn't really even something like a career move or anything. It was just like, man, I love skateboarding. I love what it does to me. I love the way it makes me feel, how I can progress, and I don't have to be a certain build or what, you know. I just love the way it was, and it was challenging. I love challenges, and that was one of the most challenging things to do. And skateboarding, it's not an easy thing, man.
How old were you when you started? Because you're the first person. There's people now where you go, oh, look how adorable he is. It's crazy how people can be good at such a young age. But you were the first person in the history of videotape that was that made the helmet make you look like a mushroom. Like you were a itty bitty boy that could do skateboard tricks.
Okay, well, I started at probably around age 12, but at age 12 I looked probably like 8.
Right. Yeah, because you looked really little.
Yeah.
So,
I was.
I mean,
I was little.
but it's still...
Me and Hawk were actually the same size at one point.
No way!
Yeah. I have a picture of me and Hawk, and I'm 15, and he's 12, and we're about the same height. And about a year later, he's like 2 feet taller than me.
Wow.
Yeah, he sprouted. I stayed the same.
So, and then because I wasn't there for the very beginning of it, but I heard tales from another person who was my peer, who had, you know, explained to me the level of the Selbers and all those guys, and then Steve Caballero coming into the game and being better than everybody. And so you might have been 12, or let's say by the time you were 15, 16, you were better than everybody, and you're still the same size.
Pretty much. Yeah, I was turned pro at 15, and I think I ended up getting second place in a pro contest, and then Stacy, he held me and Scott Foss back a year, because if you were to take the money in a pro contest, you would be pro. That's how you turn pro.
That's what I called it when I turned pro.
Exactly.
You get the check, then that's what you are. Whether you're in a contest or you get a pro model,
Exactly.
that's the terminology. Is pro means paid.
But something over the years changed, and now they have contests that are called AMs getting paid.
Right, and they're getting paid more than we ever got paid when we were pro too.
It's retarded.
Yeah. So
you're pro. You take money. You're pro. Don't quit calling yourself an AM.
Yeah. Why are you holding
professional?
Yeah. You just want that label so you can like stay there. Oh no, I'm not. I'm an amateur. I'm like, you don't want to mess with the big boys yet, but you want the money.
You're a rich amateur.
So when you were 15, you got second. Who won?
Eddie Alguera.
Okay.
And he's been an idol and someone that I looked up to back in the day. And just like you said, how you looked up to us when we came to Australia, I'd look at Skateboarder magazine in the late 70s, and when Eddie Alguera came on the scene, I was just blown away because he was just so far ahead, advancing everybody. I mean, he was amazing. And you know, when you get into something and you just kind of want to emulate the best people that you see, so that's what I did. I would get the magazine every month, and I'd see the sequences in there because there was no such thing as video back then.
Right.
It wasn't really on television, so we could only see what people were doing through sequences, photos, you know, and kind of put them together and see how a trick was done. And I'd study those, and I would, as soon as I see the magazine, I'd go to the park and try to learn the trick. Look at every part of the foot, his hand position, everywhere, and that's how I learned tricks back in the late 70s.
But you're in America. How long until you got to see him in person?
Probably like 6 months.
And then
things progressed
where was he?
Really quick. What I did was I was on a skate park team called Campbell Skate Park, and in 1979 we drove from San Jose all the way down to Escondido for their national contest, and that's where I saw Eddie Alguera for the first time in person. And I ended up actually getting 5th place in my division. My teammate got 1st, and Stacy Peralta and Steve Cathay were the judges. They were also very known pros for GNS skateboards. And after the contest, Stacy Peralta comes up and says that he really likes the way I skate, and I want to put you on this new team that I'm starting, and we're going to call this team Pal Peralta. And I told him I had to go home and ask my parents first to see if that was okay. So I gave him the answer a month later, and I said, yeah, my parents said it was cool, so I'd like to join your team. And this is before the name Bones Brigade was even thought of.
So Pal Peralta was, you'd agreed, did you know that there was other people that were going to be on the team with you?
He told me that Ray Bones Rodriguez and Jay Smith and Alan Gelfand were on the team.
So Alan Gelfand, to me, the only reason I know about him is because one of the first things I learned how to do by pure accident was frontside ollies. Apparently that came easy to me, and then I was notified by somebody who's like, you know who invented that trick, right? And I'm like, no, I don't know anything, dude. I'm just hanging out. And then I was showed a video, a photo of the man Alan Gelfand, who had gear on that made me realize this was some time ago, doing the trick that I was doing in a place that looked like it was a hell of a lot harder to do it where he did it.
Yeah, I think he invented it in either late 77 or 78.
And the frontside ollies are when you don't hold the board, but this is back in the day where you didn't hit your tail. This is just a dude launching into the air and figuring out that board just stays there. It doesn't leave.
He would scoop his tail. When I first met Alan Gelfand, he had the tightest truck. I think he had tighter trucks than Freestyler. The bushings did not move. He cranked it down so tight, and I think that's how he actually learned the trick.
Oh, wow.
It was amazing. He could not carve.
Right, because he's too little to put any weight on it to make it turn.
It was funny watching him do a carve. He'd carve and then he'd kick turn out of the car because trucks were so tight.
But he had that trick on lock.
Yeah.
So, when do you meet Tony Hawk and Lance Mountain and Mike McGill and start, because that's really what I saw was Upland and Delmar, where all of a sudden it seemed to me like Stacy had designed or envisioned this thing before. It didn't look like an accident to me.
Yeah, he had a plan. He was forming a team of amateur skaters, and he was trying to get them from different regions. Obviously, Mike McGill, Alan Gelfin came from Florida. Mike Jezelowski, Jamie Godfrey from the East Coast, Cherry Hill area. Myself and Scott Foss from NorCal, and then he had in LA Ray Bones and Jay Smith.
Where's the Tony and all that?
They weren't. He wasn't on the team yet.
Okay.
It was Lance. So basically, the first brigade members were me and McGill, and then about a year later, a lot of the pros kind of just dropped off, and some of the amateur guys like Lance and Tony were coming up in the pro ranks as well. But Tony was the next guy in line to come in onto the team.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you say next guy in line, Stacy hit her, and was George a part of this? George Powell, did he, or he just made the wheels?
George was just really good at designing product, and a great businessman when it came to manufacturing a really quality skateboard. And he let Stacy have the reins as far as forming the team, and with Stacy, with the help of Craig Stesick and other few guys that Stacy had around him, he helped form the Bones Brigade and all the advertising and the image behind it.
Because he was ahead of his time.
Stacy was a mentor for me. He was basically like a second father. He really taught me the ropes, what it was about professional skateboarding and what it was to maintain a positive attitude. And he was just a good role model. He wasn't a womanizer. He wasn't a drug addict. He was just there for us. And it was weird because he seemed so much older than us. He seemed like an adult, and he was just a few years older.
Just older. He was just wiser.
Just wiser, just more mature. And as you can see, he came from the Dogtown area, and you can see where the other guys kind of went from at the end of Dogtown.
It was more. To me, it seemed like skateboarding was more of a. That's where I could relate, because it was I was a misfit, and skateboarding kind of saved me. Like I wasn't, I felt like I had a lot of anger, and skateboarding gave me focus, but that didn't cure me. It just gave me a place to channel my anger, but I was still an uneducated, like raised by wolves maniac. And then someone was like, I didn't. And my plan was I wasn't gonna make money out of it. I was gonna be good at it. That was it. And I fell in love with it. After that there was no real plan until the Animal Chin video came out, and that was when I was like, oh, that's what I'll do. That's a job. Look at you guys. You have a job. I remember with that contest that Stacy, you had a sore back, and he was massaging your back, trying to fix your back, and I'm like, damn, this team manager is no joke. Like hands on, like fixing Stevie. Like you had something, because you got, what is it, spina bifida or something? Scoliosis. Yeah. But your back was fucking with you at the contest, and he was helping it. And I could tell you were struggling that day.
He was, like I said, he had a car. He drove us around in his Volvo, and I'd either take the bus down to Santa Monica or fly sometimes, and he'd pick us up and take us to skate parks that were around the SoCal area, and he'd arrange photo shoots with magazines. So he was on top of his game. He knew what he was doing, and we were very fortunate. Me, Lance, Tony, Mike, Tommy. We were very fortunate to have a person like Stacy take care of us and guide us, and because of that, I think a lot of the guys in the Bones Brigade are pretty successful businessmen as well.
Was he pushing you to perform as well? Like, would he advise you on things that you should do? Like, you could try this, you could do that, you could do it higher, that kind of thing as well?
He was like our cheerleader, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He pumped us up, he encouraged us. We actually we listened to him a lot. He'd tell us, like, you gotta eat pasta the night before. Like, why?
Carb up?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not actually.
At 15, I'm like, pasta the night before. I don't get it. Like, okay, whatever. I'm gonna do it. Because we needed to have energy, and so I trusted him a lot. You know, I trusted his judgment, and it paid off. You know.
So when you're the best guy, I mean, at one point you're probably the best guy in the world, and then Tony comes in, and then you guys are all on a big team together. And I mean, the difference back then, I still think it's still kind of the same in a way. You didn't. I mean, Tony had some newer tricks that were, but you had the style. So, and I felt like that it meant even more back then, like to have a certain kind of style and way. So maybe if you didn't win, you still, half the crowd probably thought you won in their mind anyway. Were you aware of that kind of thing?
I won by style points.
Yes.
Well, you just said that was interesting.
I mean, did you?
Style points.
Well, yes, you finished 5th in a contest and got on the Bones Brigade.
No, yeah, but he was.
I think he just saw the drive. And
Uh-huh.
he saw that how passionate I was, and he saw that talent. And you know, contests don't always go the way that you want them to. I mean, it's a really, skateboarding is a huge mind game. It can tear you apart, and I really feel that 90% of your talent is in your head. You know, the other 10%, I mean, anybody can do it. You just practice. But if you have a mental block, it ain't gonna happen. You have to have a really positive, you have to believe in yourself, you have to believe what you're doing, and if you don't have that, and I think that goes across the board with anything.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get into someone's head so easy. I mean, I have a funny story.
Go on. You're not getting in somebody's head. That's not like you.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We were on tour. Sorry, Mark. We were on tour, on a Thrasher tour, and, you know, we were with Mark Gonzalez,
Okay.
Lance Mountain, Rob Roscop, Gator, Christian, Pat Noho, Dave Duncan, and Mofo. And we were just teasing Gons.
Yeah.
You know, and it was the first time that we were in Germany, and he was just a little brat, man, back then, and he was just like that little.
He's still a little brat.
Yeah.
He's like a 50-year-old brat. I
He
see videos of him now. He acts like a fucking 12-year-old. He hasn't changed at all.
Yeah, and he will try to get under your skin.
Right. No, he's always fucked with me too.
Oh yeah, you're not alone. So like, all right, you want to mess with me? I'll mess with you. So we got in his head, and you know, he entered the contest, and I told him, you're gonna fall. You're gonna fall. You're not gonna make one trick. And he went and took his run, and he didn't make one trick.
See, I could see how that would work because if you live in a world where this is all that matters, you're talking to this is the Beatles. You know what I mean? Like the Bones Brigade are the Beatles, and if you get so good that you're like, you know what I mean, I'm in the Rolling Stones, and then the Beatles go, no, dude, you're a steaming pile of shit. You might want to watch your mouth. That's going to affect you because you didn't get that good in the game without looking up to these people in the first place. Yeah. I remember the first pro contest I was in Germany, I got 5th. And then the next contest in France, something changed in my mind. Because all of a sudden I was like, I'm not... Yeah. And I'm like, I'm not far from you guys. Yeah. Like, you were one up on me. I was...
You have 5s then, too?
Yeah, I had tail grab 5s and backside 5s. Me and Sluggo were the only... Tony Hawk was the only other person that could do a tail grab 5. Me and Sluggo weren't aware that we could both do them, and we both did them in our ride. But... I saw you that night.
I had 5s that contest too.
Yeah, but you didn't have tail grab 5s. But you could go way bigger and higher, and you fucking beat me, dude. You got 4th. No, you got 3rd, and I got 5th. So you were still ahead of me. Chris Miller was ahead. Tony Hawk was ahead. So, but apart from that, Danny Way and all these other people, they were under me, and I was nobody until that day. And I'm like, wait, if I can get 5th, I could do anything.
Right.
And then, obviously, I got really drunk that night. I do recall you in a minivan with the Bones Brigade, and I was in the streets of Germany by myself, celebrating like a complete idiot. And you guys came by, and you slid the door open of the minivan. You're like, what are you doing? I don't know what my reply was, but you were like, okay, well, I'll see you later. And I was like, yeah, that's Steve Caballero. But at the next contest, like the next weekend, still in Europe, Tony Hawk said, as I did a backside air, Jason Ellis is going to win! Yeah. And I fell off, and I was walking up the stairs, and I thought, is he saying that to fuck with me? Like, I don't know what that... He didn't mean anything by it, but that fucked me. and he wasn't even trying to. So I can understand like somebody of that caliber is trying to say something inside your head, to say something to fuck with your head. It's gonna work because you've put them on this pedestal for so long that everything they say means so much.
Yeah. No, Tony would never do that to somebody.
No, which is pretty funny because at one point that Tusk guy in a documentary, I remember him saying, Tony at one point, and try to do this, try to do that, and I'm like, anybody who knows any of us knows that the last, like, if he did it, it would be the funniest thing you could ever see Tony vibing or doing something or protesting or anything. Yeah. He just doesn't do it at all. That guy, and to make that up about somebody that's done so much for the sport that you made so much money and got so much gratitude out of, really shows what kind of a person you are. Because it's just, why can't you just live and let live? Like, just all beef aside, like, can we just, I mean, it's Tony Hawk. Anyone who tells me that they're angry at Tony Hawk tells me that they're angry at themselves. Because it's the same as Bob Burnquist. I put them, not because of the level they're at, but the same kind of person they are. If you're angry at Bob, you're angry at yourself. Yeah. Because Bob has nothing but kindness in his heart. Yeah. And if you figured out a way that Bob Burnquist is an asshole, well, that's you, baby. Because there's just, I just tried to fight Bob one time, and I'm like, when I heard, I was like, okay,
really?
Yes, and I was like, okay, can we all agree that it's out of control now? Like, what did Bob say?
Yeah.
Because I can tell you what it was. Nothing. He did it. There's no way that Bob did anything.
I think Tuss wanted to fight me one time.
He told me he wanted to. Yeah. He wanted me to. At one time, him and
what
Ben.
What did you do to provoke him, Steve?
He was on Vans. I'll tell you what he did. He was on Vans. I was on Vans.
The truth.
Yes.
That's what I did.
I was on Vans. Tuss and Ben were on Vans. We're all Australian skateboarders, and me and Tuss and Ben had our wars before we came to America, because that's the way they were. They had wars with everybody, and then we finally became friends, and we were all cool with each other. And obviously, this is back when taking drugs and all that kind of stuff kept us a bonding with us as well. And but Stevie was always, there's certain things you just can't tell me to do. There's, you know what I mean? Like, I'll go along with certain stuff, but then it comes to a point where I'm like, well, okay, no, I'm not going to go down that road. That's insane. So, Tuss and Ben were on Globe. They're a shoe company from Australia, and they had a pro model coming out, and they were still getting paid from Vans. So it was two different shoe companies. Steve Caballero, the Half Cab, Vans, I mean, that's Stevie's brand. He's been with it since it started. And then he found out that Tuss has a pro model on Globe, and he's still taking a lot of money from Vans. And he's like, yeah, fuck him, I'm taking the money until they find out. And Stevie found out and told Vans, and they dropped Tuss. So they were telling me that I've got to fuck with Cab. And I'm like, what are you, crazy? You are on Globe. I know that you are. Like, yeah. It kind of, how is he a bad guy for bringing up that you're ripping off his company? Yeah. And then that same contest, that was the beginning of our war again, that turned into, I still can't take that dude serious. From that day on was, I've got to fuck Cab, and I'm like, dude, you've gone too far. Fuck Cab is just crazy, and Fight Cab is like, okay, now you might actually be clinically insane.
He was back then. And
then fucking fuck Tony Hawk, and I'm like, I'm not fucking Tony Hawk, dude. Yeah. And then Ben, rest in peace, Ben. You know what I mean? I was standing next to him. We're both, you know what I mean, playing. What's the fucking Danny's company? XYZ. Shirts off, you know what I mean, with sunglasses, thinking we're badasses. And Ben goes, fuck Tony Hawk. And I just walked off. Yeah. And he said, what are you doing? I'm like, I want nothing to do with you, dude. Like, that is just crazy. Fuck you, you're a pussy. I'm like, yep, I'm a pussy. I'm not gonna insult Tony Hawk and Steve Caballero because you guys have your whatever it is you need to get in your head to go up against him. It was,
and I kind of feel bad for them because they didn't have the upbringing that we did. They didn't have a mentor like Stacy. Right. So they grew up.
Yeah, but dude, I Yeah, look, I knew his father as well, and his dad was, and not in his right mind when it comes to that stuff. He definitely was the kind of person who was like, "Fuck that guy. We should get him." And I'm like, "Wait, you're like 60. You don't tell people to get him like."
Well, when you grow up living in that kind of situation, you have what you have, and you deal with the way you can, and that's the only way they could deal with it.
I just felt like I learned from you guys. You guys were like my parents. Like I stayed at Chris Miller's house, and he became like a father and a mentor to me. You know, and at one point that really shaped me into being somebody that has a lot more consideration for others. Then there was a time where I was living at Ben Schroeder's house, and I looked at him like a father, and that made me more considerate of how many drugs I could consume, because that's what was tough. And I don't blame him for it, but there was a scene there. You knew it, dude. You weren't in it, but you were well aware of it. Just drinking a lot and skateboarding was sort of, if you didn't do it, you were going to be frowned upon. And I was in that circle, so I matched them. And being Australian and my father being a drunk guy, it suited me. But it cost me.
Yeah, but it's not just skateboarding. It's just society in itself. That's just the way it is.
You pick your circles, and then you do. But I don't blame anybody for it. I made my choice.
But like I gotta give it a hand to Tuss for changing his life around and being a family man now. And
has he?
Yeah. Well, I believe he has. I'm sure. It takes a long time to change a lot of bad habits and stuff, and I know his heart is in the right place. I've had conversations with him, and we've disagreed on things, but I believe that he wants to be a better person.
I think that from time to time too.
He does. But
I just don't trust it.
We have our triggers. I try to be the best person I can, but I have my triggers too that make me step back a little bit, and I got to get back on track. It's just hard to break bad habits, even though you're trying to go on a right path. I believe that Tuss, his heart is in the right place, but sometimes our past kind of haunts us.
Yeah.
I would have loved his documentary to be shine a different light.
Yeah.
He could have used that for a more positive thing, but it was a negative thing against Tony. And so I had to get on him about that, and that kind of
yeah, because in the end,
between us again.
Tony had like some death threats going for a little bit there, and I'm like, man,
he doesn't deserve that.
Yeah, that's not right.
Yeah, so I was just hoping that Tuss would see that, that was wrong to put that stuff in the documentary to show Tony in a bad light.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I've had conversations recently with Tuss, and he feels bad.
Really?
He does. Yeah.
Well, that's good.
There'll be some times where he probably's like, yeah, but mate, that was the truth. That was maybe that was the truth in your own head.
Yeah.
But that's not the truth in reality.
Yeah.
And when you're on drugs, the truth gets distorted.
Yep. Yeah.
But he's not on drugs anymore, and like I said, he's sober and
you sure about that?
Well, I mean, you can only go by what he says, and I want to believe that.
Okay.
I do.
I have other friends.
Unless you saw.
I have friends that say otherwise, but maybe recently I go to meetings. I'm only 8 months sober myself. And I wasn't as deep in it as he was in the end.
So you can understand.
So I can understand. It's a constant struggle. It doesn't go away. It's not like, oh, fix myself, I'm fine now. Like, no, dude. If you don't work on it every day, like I read the book, I go to meetings, I have a sponsor. I don't just, I'm cured. Off I go to you know what I mean? Like, let me hang out. I still, if I go out at night and everyone's drinking, I miss it. You know what I mean? I don't, it's
I go to
forever.
church. I have Bible studies I go to, and I'm still learning, to try to be a better person. And I fail,
I've never seen you fail, except maybe in a motocross track against me. That's about it.
Oh, I knew that was coming up. Oh, I was thinking about that on the way here.
I'm moving on.
Okay, check it out. I have to claim I'm the fastest skateboarder.
Wait, when are you? Not now, not anymore.
Yeah, I mean, you may have been faster than me, but when's the last time you've been on a skateboard?
Oh. Wait, did you have that written down? That is fucked up.
No, I actually thought about that. I was like, wait, he's pretty fast on a dirt bike, but does he even skateboard anymore? So can you be
I mean,
considered the
that-
fastest
you and
skateboarder
Tony-
if you don't skateboard?
Anybody else can say that, and I'm like, I don't give a shit what you say. But you and Tony have both said that to me, and I recall them too. Like 2 years ago, Tony said it, and you're saying it right now. Fuck you guys, man. That really hurts. I'm trying to get back into it. I just
It's a
haven't.
motivator, bro.
I'm going to do it. I'm going. I am going to do it.
So you can't claim you're the fastest skateboarder
All right.
on a motocross
All right.
bike if you don't skateboard.
All right. Well,
Come on.
when's Skatercross?
Skatercross we're going to try to do in March.
Right. So when I go to the bowl
And you
and I
better
skate, and then I go to the track and I whoop your ass.
If you fall off your board, you're disqualified. If you can't even grind.
Oh, dude. Okay, that's even more insulting. When I get back into it, I will be. Look, you know what? I still skateboard because when I was probably at Venice like in the last 30 days, and when I was there, I'm doing grinds and shit. I'm not a complete tart, okay?
In the snake run?
No, in the big bowl. I don't go to the man.
That's not a big bowl.
It's a vert bowl.
That's not big.
To me, it's harder if it's smaller.
Come to Hawks.
Oh my god!
Come to
this
Hawks
guy.
around.
Fucking come to Hawks around. I've seen your videos of you fucking little frontside ollies. I will fucking wipe the floor with you in both genres.
This is Steve Caballero we're talking to. You were profiled in Rolling Stone very recently.
Yeah, man. Pretty stoked about that. A friend of mine, Eric, we went on a ride together, a Ducati ride with Elliot Sloan and another gentleman named Fred, and they gave us Ducatis to take on a trip, and
Sweet.
Rolling Stone covered it, you know. So it was really fun trip, and just lately I've been getting a lot of opportunities to do stories, riding motorcycles and stuff. Always been a huge motorcycle fan, whether it be on street or on dirt, you know.
Collect them, right?
Collect them as well. I mean, I have a few that last year I put together a 1952 Triumph. A friend of mine helped me build, named Brian Thompson in Oro Grande. We built it for this show called Born Free last summer. Then it got picked to go to Japan, so we debuted it in Japan as well for the Moon Eyes show, and also picked up a 1944 flathead 45 Harley Davidson motorcycle that I got to race on the beach. in
No
Portsmouth.
way.
Yeah, it's been amazing, man. The way skateboarding has allowed me to dabble into other things that you know, the people that are involved in hot rodding and in motorcycles and stuff, they skateboarding's touched their lives in some
Yep.
way.
Yeah. Oh
you
yeah.
know. So I just love two wheels. I love four wheels. I love going fast. There's nothing like the smell of the gas and the hear of the engine of a motorcycle. And it kind of reminds me of skateboarding. It's really freeing. It's like something you can do on your own, but it's also awesome to ride with buddies.
Yeah.
You know, and so going on trips on motorcycles is really fun. It's dangerous too, man.
I was gonna say, there is that
It's
one.
dangerous.
If it wasn't dangerous, but I don't think it would be as much fun though.
No.
You gotta have that
There's
bit.
a little rebellious thing about it. I mean, you know, breaking the law, riding motorcycles, going past the speed limit. You know, I'd never split lanes before, going that fast. You know, it's crazy.
What do you mean split lanes?
Split lanes, you know, when there's traffic.
Oh,
you got
okay.
motorcycles
Yeah.
Going,
Yeah.
and it's legal here. You know.
Not if you're speeding, I don't think.
Well,
Yeah, I
that's
don't-
just,
what
that's
is
the part that.
what is the speed limit for splitting lanes? I don't know.
Well, it's got to be. It's not higher than the regular speed limit.
No, we weren't going
Oh,
that
okay.
fast. But I meant, you know, when it was free, we were going, you know, I mean, you can go, you know, 0 to 90 and really just a flick of the
Ducatis are
wrist.
no joke, man.
No, it's, I mean, I'd look down at my speed limit and sometimes I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm trying to catch up to these guys. I'm going 100, you know, I'm like, oh, you guys got to slow down, man. I don't want to get a ticket, you know, but, you know, when you're with a group of 5 guys, you don't want to be left behind.
Elliot Sloan is going 100 mile an hour on a bike.
Oh, yeah.
That's not a good
I
idea.
know.
The California
How long's he
Highway-
been riding for? Like 6 months.
California Highway Patrol recommends, I don't know if this is the law, but recommends not splitting traffic faster than 30 miles per hour.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we definitely were doing 40, 50 sometimes.
Rock and roll.
It happens. Speaking of rock and roll, you're still in a band, right?
Yeah.
Still playing?
Yeah, still play guitar in this band called The Faction that we formed
Will ripped off your name and named it a channel.
Yeah, now it's a talk channel too.
Yeah.
So well done.
Yeah, well, I guess.
Will, is that where you got the name?
For something.
Will, do you want to come in here and join us?
We're the faction. This is just faction, right?
Yeah.
Well, this is faction talk over here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're the faction.
Right. Oh, okay.
I heard the faction on Faction Music the other day.
Oh,
so
really?
at least they're not totally whitewashing history.
No, we play faction a lot.
Awesome. Thank you for that.
Yeah, my favorite is the cover song of California Dream.
Oh yeah. That was on our last album that we made in '85.
In '85.
Yeah. So punk rock was another part of my bringing up as a teenager. Punk rock and skateboarding kind of went hand in hand back in the day, and they definitely were going against the mainstream and going against what normal society wanted out of you as a teenager, and you know, it was just something that kind of gave us our own look and our own style and our own way to live, you know, and I really liked it. I really adapted to it because, you know, it was something that made me feel like somebody.
Nowadays, if a skater is dabbling in music, he or she's probably going to be a DJ.
Yeah, I haven't really dabbled in that. My wife DJs. She does a lot of drum and bass stuff. We have DJ stuff set up, and I was like, maybe I should try getting into that someday. She's like, no, don't do it.
Yeah, no.
You're not doing that.
Yeah, I
Not
agree.
another thing.
Stay away. Yeah, I completely understand it with that. You have got, like, how many things do you
I've
do?
already got offered to DJ something in Japan.
No.
I was like,
Oh, Japan, you
I
can
don't
do
even know
it.
how to DJ, but
Just
I'll try it
Now
out.
Play
there's-
the
now there's
faction.
Paris Hilton.
I mean, it can't be that hard. Come on, you're spinning records.
I like you, Stevie.
How hard is that?
It's not.
I'm with you.
Stupid.
You have to have some rhythm, I guess. You know, I think I may have a little bit of rhythm.
You're in a
Have
band.
you
Of
seen me
course you are.
dance?
No, but I would watch a video of that.
I've posted on Instagram before. My daughter loves it when I dance.
Okay, well then, as long as you're doing,
Grandpa's dancing is
you're
awesome.
a grandpa.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah. Grandson, 2 years old. My daughter, Kayla, 19, and she has a 2-year-old son. So it's
That's
pretty
so
amazing.
crazy.
Yeah,
So
it's rad.
how come you're in a punk rock band and you do all this dangerous shit, but you're like you're like really mellow? Is there an angry side of you? Because I've never really seen you get angry.
I can get angry.
Have you ever been angry at me? Because I had to be annoying at
Maybe
least
if
once.
You pass me on the track. You're flicking roost at my chest.
Well, I didn't mean to do that.
No, my wife and my kids have seen the anger.
Okay.
Something about wife and kids. They know how to push that button.
This makes no sense to me.
They'll push a button that normal people don't push.
Huh.
You know?
Family always does know the quickest route to get under your skin.
It does, and you know, and I've taken anger management classes.
Wow.
Yeah,
What?
yeah.
What? A long time ago?
Probably like 3 years ago. 3 years ago.
What?
And it was amazing. I loved it. I learned a lot about anger. I learned a lot of why other people get angry. And it's very helpful.
That's interesting. Okay, what does the general population not know about anger?
Well, a lot of people don't know that everything's not going to go your way. Things just are the way they are, and you just have to learn to accept them. And anger doesn't come from other people. It comes from inside. I mean, you can take one situation and get two people to react to the same situation differently.
Sure.
It's not the situation that's causing you to get angry. It's the way you accept it.
Every kid who every set of siblings grows up in the same house and end up as wildly different people. They all had the exact same childhood, basically.
Yeah, and obviously, if you're a parent that's yelling at your kids all the time, I had my daughter even years before I took anger management class when Kayla was like around, I want to say 7 or 8. She told me, she goes, Dad, you know, every time you yell at me, I go, yeah. She goes, it makes me want to yell right back at you. And I'm like, I looked at her, I'm like, whoa, you're brave for even saying that to me. But I respect that she was honest enough to tell me that, you know. So it's just little things that you know you learn from your parents. My mom was a screamer. You know, my dad would get angry as well, and you just pick things up as a child, and then you adapt it as a parent, and then you just start showing your kids the same thing, and it's just a cycle that needs to be broken. So you know, just something that takes a lot of patience, and you won't know until the people around you that love you very much will say, hey, you know, you got a problem. You know, you yell too much. You're an angry person, and the angry person's like gonna say, no, I'm not. You know,
that's only gonna make them angry.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So it's just like, you know, it's an addictive thing. It's like it can be just as dangerous as being on drugs or an alcoholic. Anger is a thing that causes us to do things that we regret later.
Yeah. I mean, I've had pretty similar circumstance. My daughter said the same thing. My therapy used to be to get me straight and narrow, but it's more about, because I realize that it's them. I'm gonna affect them. They're gonna live the same life I did. I'm like, you guys do not need to go down my road.
Yeah.
Like let me cut this off, and you can start like with 45-year-old Jason, not with 25-year-old Jason, because you don't deserve that. But I've had this. I'm scared if I get angry. It's like they won't listen. But then they'll listen to the yell. So that tells me that's what I do if I need to get their attention. But it's not the way it works. It's I've to the point where I've had a meeting with teachers to explain, because they were yelling at my daughter, and I'm like, it doesn't work that way. And my therapist explained it. You know, I'll open the door. He opened the door and he left, and he went out in the corridor, and he's like, what do you feel like if I was to do the rest of this therapy out there? And I'm like, awkward, like you're not paying attention. He's like, when you yell, you're not getting the message across anymore. All you are doing now is shutting them off. They no longer they don't hear what you're yelling. They just are like, why are you not listening to me anymore?
Yeah, you can't earn respect from fear. You know,
Right.
Because what happens is they may fear you, but they're going to resent you. And I've had a lot of apologies I've had to make to my oldest daughter, Kayla, because she was a grunt of my parenting in the beginning, and I've made a lot of mistakes with her. And I feel bad about it, you know, and then times I'll look at her and I'll just, you know, break down and just say, hey, you know, I'm sorry the way I treated you as a parent, you know, and I've tried to change certain things with my kids who are 7 and 9, and there are times that they will do some little hints. Hey, Dad, you're yelling at me.
Right.
You know, so I mean, even though we're here to teach our kids how to be respectful and be better, but also we're supposed to be role models as parents and lead by example. And you'd be surprised what you can learn from your own kids about yourself.
Yep.
You know, because they're you know they'll tell you anything.
Yep.
You know, if they fear you a lot, maybe they might not tell you, but if they respect you and trust you, they're going to tell you things that they don't like about you. So, you know, I'm reading this book in Bible study about saying, like, you know, there's times that you need to do a little checklist and just go to your kids and go like, hey, what can I do to be a better parent? Is there anything that I'm doing that you don't like? And if you can listen to what those little voice, what they say, you might have a change of heart of how you can be a better parent.
Yeah, I've had the thing told to me, and then I've had them point out how much I've changed and how happy they are for that. And that has been probably the greatest pat on the back I've ever received in my existence.
Yeah, that's definitely a motivator.
Like when they tell you that, like, wow, Daddy, that was really impressive. And I'm like, wait, what was? Like, usually you would have, like, told that guy, and I'm like, I know, right? Like, yeah, check it out. And then I immediately go into, if Daddy can change, that means you can do it. I spin it back on. I'm like, because they have done things in school where they're not paying attention. And I'm like, you got to work on it, dude. I don't expect it to come naturally, but you do have to work on it. And they recently got assessed the other day on their IQ and stuff, and they're really high, like way above average. And I'm like, this is bad news for you guys. And they're like, why is it bad news? I'm like, because there's no excuses now. Like, you can't say that it's too hard and you get frustrated. it's not too hard.
Yeah.
You're an advanced child, which means you're just being lazy and you're being destructive. You have to like put in the effort because you've been given a gift.
Yeah.
You've been given the gift of like the teacher said. Like a lot of other kids are gonna find this way harder. You're not. And I'm like, okay.
It makes you proud as a parent. I mean,
Well, it's her mother. It's not me.
Okay. Well, to get a good report from your teachers, your kids' teachers, is just amazing to see that they're doing well in school. It just shows that we're doing a good thing at home. But also, it's encouraging too when my wife says that, hey, I've seen over the years you've changed. And
Yep.
I've been married to my wife for over 10 years, and we've had our ups and downs, and we've almost divorced twice, but thanks to the Lord for helping us, getting us through all this, if I seriously, I'm not going to lie to you, if I didn't have God in my life, I'd be divorced again, definitely.
Yeah, I see that with you and Christian. Sorry, I feel like, because I'm not a religious guy, but I just, when it comes to whether I believe in it or not, I don't care what my opinion is. I just care. You are the two people where I always bring it up. I'm like, you two are the reason why I can't shit on religion when it comes to the way you guys are. I mean, you were always pretty cool, but Christian was a mess, and Christian is a really good father. Like when I see him on the videos, I'm like, dude, you weren't like the first kid. I don't think the first kid got a good role with you. Like,
Yeah.
are you? I mean, for instance, you went to jail for a long time. That's not good.
He was a mess. He got caught. I can't say that I was any better than he was. I mean, I was a mess in my own way. I've done things that have been illegal. I've done things that could have thrown me in jail. I just didn't get caught.
You did?
Dude, I've driven drunk so many times back in the 90s. Going to clubs, drinking, driving home.
You went to
that's
clubs?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's your shocking thing.
Dude, when I was on the team with him, I was always drinking and raging, and I'm like, I don't want him to catch me because it's not that he's gonna tell George to kick me off. He's gonna be let down. I don't want to let him down. Like, I remember the big day out where you said you saw my foot out the back of a tent with ants running across it. And like when he tells the story, now it's funny, but at the time, yeah, I'm like, oh no, like
You were a mess back then, dude.
right. That was the last person that I wanted to see that, and him being on tour meant there's no way I'm dodging him. He's on the tour with me.
But I'd already quit drinking then. I quit drinking alcohol when my daughter Kayla was born 19 years ago.
Okay.
So it wasn't something that I had to go to a meeting for or anything. I wasn't really an alcoholic, but it was something that was put on my heart. I felt like even before I became a Christian, God had put that on my heart. Hey, you got to be a good role model for your kid.
Yeah.
Stop smoking pot. Stop drinking.
You smoked pot?
Oh yeah.
Man. We would have been
You guys
homies.
should have partied together.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
He might have given you a ride home.
He was older.
I think the only one that didn't smoke pot on the Bones Brigade was probably Lance.
Okay, he did not. He just didn't do it.
No.
Did he drink?
I made him drink in Germany one time.
One time.
One time.
And
That's
did
how
he
I was
just vomit?
I was just teasing him.
And he finally just did it?
He gave in and drank some beer.
Skateboarders brew such weird people. They really do.
But yeah, I mean, come on, everyone dabbles.
I know, but look, you're talking to a guy that, when I was, in my early 20s and I was raging, you just always seemed, you were an idol and who became annoying to me because it was, I was like, we're going to be in a room together. They give you two guys get a room, and I'm like, oh my God, they put me in a room with Cab. This is a fucking, I can't believe how cool this is. And then he's like, Jason, you should probably not. And I'm like, probably not. What the fuck are you talking about? You should probably get some sleep before the contest. And I'm like, get some fucking sleep. I'm in fucking Amsterdam. I will not get any sleep. I'm going to smoke. Definitely can't smoke any weed in here. And I'm like, oh, this is killing me. Like, and then the next hotel, I'm like, I don't want to be in a room with Cab. Like the guy
That's
that
when you wanted to beat me up.
I never wanted to
That's
be.
when where's Tuss, man? Where's Tuss?
I never wanted
Tuss
to.
was right, man.
Never wanted to go there. Always loved you, but I was like, you can't. I'm in the prime of being a moron. I did not want the guilty advice of what I'm doing. I know I'm doing it wrong. I know, even when I was like, no, I'm not. The back of my mind, I knew I was pissing it away.
No, but you know, I try not to try to tell people what to do. If someone comes up to me now and like I've matured in a lot of ways, even as a Christian, I mature a lot of ways. People want to ask about my faith, I talk about it. You know, I don't really try to like just preach to people.
Right.
You know, I just accept people for who they are, and we're all struggles. And I've been there before. You know, I didn't have God in my life for a long time. You know, I got saved when I was 41, and I remember having arguments with Lance before that. I'm never gonna believe in God. You know.
Because he was talking to you about it.
Well, you know, he's been a Christian his whole life. You
Right.
know? So he would, you know, not like preach or force things into, but we'd have conversations, you know.
Yeah.
And I like to argue, and you know, people used to say, and you could be a lawyer. You know, you love to argue.
Yeah.
You love to argue a point. You know, so maybe I'll become a lawyer after skating.
You don't. What do you mean
I'm
after
just
skating?
kidding.
You used to when
No.
will you ever stop? Do you feel like your body is like? I mean, how old are you right now?
I'm 52.
Do you feel like
I feel great.
in skateboarding it doesn't? You know what I mean? You're,
It gets sore. I'm in a 2-hour session. You're pretty sore.
but it's nothing that stops any. It's not stopping you.
No, I mean slams can stop you for a while.
Right.
You know, you slam at 52 years old, you're not going to get back up and skate again. Your session's done.
Right.
You know, you get pretty sore. I take Advil if you know sometimes. You know,
That's it?
The back gets sore. I definitely, if I was to give any advice to any skateboarder that wants to skateboard in their 40s and 50s, is stretch
Right.
when you're younger, because I'm the most unlimber person, and I cannot bend over as like I used to, and there's some tricks that I wish I could do, but I can't grab because I can't reach the board.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I you know, stretch as much as possible. I mean that's the I you know, if you're gonna skate into your 40s and 50s, I mean that's not something that people really think about when they're 12 or 15, and that's
No.
not something I thought about when I was 12. I'm gonna be skating still till 52 years old. I mean, I'm like 52 years old. That's like grandpa. You're a grandpa at 50.
Mm.
Like, what do grandpas do at 50?
Caballeros.
Ride dirt bikes.
Yeah, that one's gonna catch you.
It's got me many a times.
Cause I'm like, man, I saw what's that when you went free riding, you went over the bars. I'm like, dude, you're 52. You don't want to go over the bars on a dirt bike. That's a whole bunch of bad news right there.
Well, Wisdom told me to toss the bike out of the way. They're like, why'd you toss the bike? It looked like you could have made it. I'm like, if you've gone over the bars as many times I have,
Yeah.
once it goes wrong off the lip, you get off the
Yeah,
bike.
because you don't want to get the bike to hit you either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I love it, man. I love it. I can't wait to go riding with you again.
Yeah, I had a good time. My hand is still numb from staying out there too long. That wrist have broken too many times to be out there for half an hour at a time. That's not good for me.
No, it's good. I mean, it's good to ride together because, you know, obviously we're pushing each other and we're going faster than normal.
Right, that was fun. It was fun staying with, just hanging out next to you, because it's usually you go and you just ride by yourself, but just having like your friend right next to you in case anything goes bad, I get to look over and go, see that?
And you're just that laugh that you have is just hilarious. You're like, I'm going around turning, you're just giggling at me. But then you had some oh shit moments, like,
Fuck yeah.
oh, man,
I
was
probably had like
behind you.
6 that day.
Oh my goodness, like off the finish line jump, I'm like, he's going off the side of the jump right here.
Yeah, yeah, I
And I'm
was.
like,
I did.
I go, that's Ellis. There's Ellis. He's pushing it right now. That's the Ellis I know.
Yeah, fucking idiot.
Cab's not passing me. He ain't passing me.
That's not what I was
This guy's
thinking.
good on a dirt bike, man.
So I've heard.
He's good.
They've unfortunately have to sit here every day.
He's fast. Your brother still race?
Nah,
Oh.
nah, he doesn't even ride. He rides mountain bikes.
Mountain bikes are awesome.
Yeah,
I
he
ride
said.
too, man.
He said the only thing is that it's like 90% pedaling up the fucking hill, and then it's like this 5% of coming down. But he said he likes because he's proper quick, so
Yeah.
that means that his bike when you're real quick, your bike falls apart way faster because of how much strain you put on your tools.
Yeah.
So he's like, it's cheaper. He's like, when I come home, I put the bike in the garage. He's like, sometimes I'll hose it down and then it's clean.
Yeah.
He's like, it's not the same drama that used to be with moto.
Do you know why I mountain bike? Because of moto. When I started watching all the pros and how they train, I'm like, these guys ride mountain bikes too? I'm like, you know, I'm going to ride a mountain bike, because if they're doing that for endurance, I thought maybe it would help me with skating. And he's right. You know, if you want to work out, if you want to get a great workout, get a mountain bike. Climbing up the hill is rad, and when you're coming down, it's like motocross.
Yeah.
You know. But I'll tell you one thing, man, I cannot jump on a mountain bike. There's something weird about the way you stand on it, that if I go off a jump, I'm instantly going sideways.
Right.
And trying to keep the bike straight.
Well, one foot's in front of the other now. It's
Yeah.
not next to each other.
It is the most scariest thing. Like, I'll try to jump a 4-foot jump, and my heart will be beating. I can jump an 80-foot jump on my dirt bike, no problem, because the bike goes straight, and we're actually trying to get the bike to go sideways. It's a complete opposite feeling.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Well, in that photo, we look great. And that's really all anybody needs to know. Will, you have some news
Yes, I do.
before we go?
Sure, I'll run through these stories.
Stevie, you loved it. Will has Will's News. It's a signature segment that everybody loves.
Nice.
He has his own intro, and it's everybody just can't get enough of Will's News. You got to get out of here? Oh, yeah. Oh, we're giving away stuff. While Will's doing Will's News, people want to call into the show. Steve Caballero has brought in a painting that he did himself.
Man.
A signed a Steve Caballero toy that is only in Japan, Stevie?
Yeah, it's made by Secret Base and Super 7 in San Diego.
You're big in Japan.
He's fucking huge in Japan.
Yep. And then Hot Wheel toy.
A Hot Wheel toy,
signature
Steve
Hot Wheel.
Caballero Hot Wheel
Oh,
toy.
that's awesome.
You bastard, that's
Merge socks, my signature sock. I
Steve
designed.
Caballero socks.
And
It actually has your signature.
Yep, it's a piece of artwork that I designed. It's actually the graphic on my new deck. Pile. And then some Stay Fresh air fresheners with my graphics.
Steve Caballero air freshness.
And we
The
have
phones
one
are
for the
lighting
faction. Oh, the faction.
Ah.
up. You could win that, Will.
I want that
I'll
painting.
just give it to Will.
Oh,
It's
okay.
called Black Ice.
Awesome.
There you go. Will loves
This is
that.
going in the Saab right
Yeah.
now. The American Meteor Society said it received more than 184 reported sightings of a giant green glowing ball. on
That's
Monday.
aliens.
No, it was a meteorite. But it was seen across the sky from Illinois, Wisconsin, Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, Iowa, New York, Kentucky, Minnesota, Ontario, all over the place. People saw this and you know, it showed up on cameras, like on police dash cameras and, you know, wherever there are stationary cameras set up. Really an amazing sight, and it really makes you think about how awesome the universe is. At least it did for me. No? Not
If it's true, you can't believe everything you hear from the Meteor Society.
I get it.
You believe in aliens, Stevie?
I do not.
Do you have to not believe in them because you're a Christian?
No, I actually didn't believe in them before I was a Christian.
You don't believe in what is it called, where like, you know that we came from monkeys, and that you believe in dinosaurs, right?
I believe there was dinosaurs,
Right.
but I don't believe that we came from monkeys.
So you believe in what is it? You don't believe in
Creation, not evolution.
Yeah.
You believe in creation, not evolution?
I believe that we evolved, but I believe that God created everything, and that we're under his will, his law. You know.
What about the Quran? Do you believe in that?
I don't believe in the way they think. No, I don't.
But that book was before the Bible, though, right?
No.
It wasn't? The Jewish Bible was first, right?
Yes.
I follow Christ. I follow Jesus.
Jesus!
Yeah.
Right, so he's not a prophet, he's Jesus Christ, God.
Yeah.
Jesus is God.
Yeah.
Right.
I believe that he is a person, a real person that walked the earth, and I believe that he had some pretty amazing, wise things to say about life and people, and he's changed a lot of people's lives.
And he
Changed
died and he
mine.
came back and all that stuff?
Yeah. Yeah.
You walked on water?
If that's what it was written, that's what it said.
You believe that?
Yeah.
I appreciate your commitment.
You know, I believe in it because I believe in how it's changed my life, and I believe the words that he says is true. Everything that has said have come true in my life. So there's things that I haven't figured out that are not true. You know, because I actually allowed him to enter my life, and before I just pushed it away. So.
Will, do you believe in Jesus Christ?
Yes.
Good for you, Will.
I believe that there are a lot of people giving us a call who would love to win some great stuff.
Look, let's just talk to Jeremy real
I
quick.
get my air freshener.
Jeremy, how are you? Xbox Ghost, and I'm really bad at it, and I'm really angry, and I will wear no shirt until I'm kicked off because I find it offensive to know that you're going to ban me because you can see my naked shoulders. I really am offended at people saying that I'm going to get banned for having my shoulders exposed on the internet. Where I'm just look, I get it. Naked ladies, even me, my nipples. Okay, maybe I've gone too far, but we're talking about my shoulders here. You can see them; they exist. It's not fair. You know what I mean? Like, can I wear shorts while I'm playing?
You didn't show your ankles, did you?
No,
might be a
but
problem.
I might do a handstand tonight. That's up to Cab. Cab, would you like to give Jeremy stuff because you think he's a nice guy or no?
For sure. What do you want? You aren't listening? You want socks? You want a print? You want a toy? All right, socks are yours.
Boom!
Everybody can
There's
use
Some
Socks.
good-looking signature merge socks.
Put you on hold.
Robert McGill, who is 68, was in prison for life, a life sentence in 1990 for cocaine and heroin distribution. Obama set him free in 2015. It's signed his
Yeah,
pardon.
why?
Just because he thought it wasn't a violent crime,
Okay.
and you shouldn't get a life sentence for that.
Right.
And he actually said, when he released him, he said, because you've demonstrated the potential to turn your life around, now it's up to you to take this second chance and make something out of it.
Okay, so far, what has he done with this second chance?
He's in prison again.
Oh.
He was caught with more than 2 pounds of cocaine following a high-speed chase.
Oh, what? Why would you?
When you get a second chance
I'm
like that,
from Obama.
you're in jail, and there's no way on earth you could ever get out unless some crazy miracle happened, like the president
Maybe
signs
it's
something
like-
and gets you out of jail.
Maybe it was like that movie, and he had to go back in because he didn't know any other existence, and he just like, what's the easiest way to get back in? He's like, I don't want to kill anybody. I know what I'll do. I'll get busted selling coke again.
Maybe.
Maybe he just, maybe he also just wanted to sell
Just
coke.
one more time.
Right?
This is the last time.
I just feel like if you're
One more score.
if
Yeah.
you're a president, you're obviously making a political. This guy's life doesn't totally matter to you. You're making a political statement that you shouldn't lock people up for life for doing non-violent crimes. But if I'm Obama, before I sign the order on this particular guy, I'm like, we're sure, like, we've scoured the political system. We found a guy who's really had a change of heart, right? Like, yeah, no, this guy, he would never, ever do that again. Like, you're absolutely... I really only need one thing from this. I have to be positive he is never going to sell
Right,
cocaine
right.
and heroin again.
Nobody did their
No,
research.
this is the guy. Trust me.
This isn't going to come back and haunt me, right?
Weird. Like,
How many years was he in jail for?
20 or so?
Yeah, he was.
What'd you say, he was
arrested
arrested
in
in
1990.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's so weird to. It's one thing I can understand a guy doing drugs and then he gets out and he does more drugs because it's like he can't deny the addiction. It's a disease, but I guess maybe it's a disease to sell drugs because
Yeah.
selling them is the weird part. Like you just I don't know.
But then again, the system isn't set up for inmates to come out and your life's great again.
Yeah, I mean,
Right, it was
what kind of
probably
job
so
are you gonna
miserable
get?
that he was like, you know what?
This is the easier way, and people want to take the easy way out.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is.
Be that as it may, if I've
We're
learned
lazy.
one thing from this, it's that anybody who sells drugs should go to prison and never come out.
get? Exactly.
Well, then you would be speaking of Hosoi.
Right, well he came
except
out.
him.
Came out.
Except Christian. That's the rule.
I got an answer
You
for
know,
everything.
I mean, But like, see, he changed his life. You know, he had something that was directing him. You know.
He can do it.
You know, so that's what I'm saying. That's the power of having faith in something that changes your life.
He fixed him. He's a great dude now. Last time I saw him before he went to jail, I told the story 1,000 times. At a trade show, he said hello to me 5 times. It was the same day.
Yeah.
Right.
Jason, no way! I'm like, are you fucking serious, dude? No way.
Right.
Because it's full on way. It's been fucking 5 ways so far.
Yeah. All right.
Good call.
I have an Econoline truck that I drew. It's a 65 Ford Econoline truck that I own, kind of Ed Roth style. It's just a print, and this will be going to you. How are we gonna keep record of this?
I'm putting them on hold. They know.
Yeah, they got it.
Thanks for supporting us, mate. See ya.
Thank you. Enjoy.
Airline Ambassadors International is an organization that teaches flight attendants how to recognize human trafficking. And to get the point across, they've now released the details of what happened 6 years ago. An Alaska Airlines flight attendant, Sheila Fedrick, said she instinctively felt something was wrong with one of the passengers, a teen with blonde hair, on a flight from Seattle to San Francisco. It's when the Super Bowl was going on. They were taught to especially look out around big events like the Super Bowl, that people will import people for big events like that.
Yes.
So when she talked to the passenger, who was with a well-dressed man, neither one of them would make eye contact, and the guy was kind of combative. So she got the girl to go to the bathroom. She left a note tacked to the mirror that was like, "Hey, is everything okay?" The girl, when she came out of the bathroom, she had left a note, "I need help," and she got that person help. So that's a pretty cool thing that they're teaching it to all the flight attendants, and especially around events, and they want to make that part of, like, basically the whole service industry, like hotels and everything, to be able to recognize when someone's in trouble like that.
I mean,
how did she get her to go to the bathroom?
Yeah.
I don't know. I know that
you look like you need to pee.
She talked.
Have some more water. No. You know, you're supposed to have like 10 glasses a day.
No, like, hey, we'll be landing a little bit. It's going to get busy. You might need to go to the... You know, whatever she said, she did.
Pouring some water from a pitcher of glass.
I might need to go to the restroom.
You know what? People who haven't checked the podcast, Alistronics, Rebecca Bender, if you want to learn more about human trafficking, and those guys out there that think that it might be cool to go to a Super Bowl or get drunk in Vegas and get a prostitute, you might want to check that podcast, because it will change your life forever if you are that kind of guy. Because I feel like a lot of those guys, you don't know, you might not know any better, but check it out, because you realize how deep it runs and how disgusting it gets, and that you're better off getting a fleshlight.
Speaking
for everybody's sake.
Speaking of deep and disgusting, when Roger Logan started gaining weight in his stomach, doctors told the 57-year-old
he was pregnant
man he was fat.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing, but he's recovering.
Supposed to say obese.
He's recovering now. That's what the doctor said. Hey, you're just fat. He's recovering now after traveling here to California to have a 130-pound
tumor
growth removed from his abdomen. Doctors say the benign tumor, which started about 12 years ago, kept growing until it was massive and had its own blood supply, and that it probably began...
Had a brain thinking for him.
No. Oh. It probably began as an ingrown hair. Can you imagine an ingrown hair that takes 12 years and grows into this 120-pound mass that has its own blood supply? That's crazy.
What kind of a lazy guy are you to... I mean, why... You gotta go to... I'm getting a second opinion.
He couldn't move around much anymore, so they had to... They took his easy chair and bolted it into a van and drove him out to California from Mississippi.
Now, in a mild defense of his doctors, he is also very, very fat.
Oh. Because that's how you hide a giant tumor, in fat.
Yeah, 130 pounds is pretty big.
Yeah, so how many pounds was he?
I don't have that information, but I do know that
He could have been like 600. They do that these days. There's a lot of 600-pound people. You see that show?
a guy in China
Man, my
had
600-pound life.
a guy in China
It's
had
the
a
gnarliest shit.
Okay, here's
242 pound.
Here's a photo.
Right. Okay. So he was
Oh, yeah,
a giant.
you can find
fan,
a lot of that.
Yeah.
That's him.
Yeah, I would recommend against wearing purple shirts and purple pants.
Why is it when fat people wear purple? You know that, right?
He looks like Grimace.
They always do, though.
Yeah,
It's a
little
thing.
It's like if King Kong Bundy really let himself go.
That's that's probably the biggest insult a man's ever received, but it's actually kind of spot on. And I'm pretty sure
no.
King Kong Bundy has let himself go, so that is
That might be King
a
Kong
pretty
Bundy.
gnarly statement. Yeah.
Total Recall. He's holding that woman's head.
Yes!
That's what he is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Well, I'm glad he's okay.
Willie Nelson has postponed 3 California shows because of illness.
Well, he is 80.
Yeah, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at the Buck Owens Crystal Palace in Bakersfield. Those shows have been postponed. He should be at a February 16th show in San Antonio. But yeah, he's 83 years old, man.
Yeah,
So
those
we,
drugs are bound to catch up with him sooner or later.
yeah, that's
Can't even blame the drugs if it's 83. He's on fire.
Yeah, he's doing okay.
He does yoga and shit, right?
I don't
He's
know,
gotta do
but
something.
he's got to have some
Can't he,
routine.
What
some-
is the average age men live to these days?
It's getting older, but I don't think it's. I think what is it, 70?
I would think it's 75 or something. That would be my guess, on average.
He still smokes. I remember he was on Stern Show some years ago, and he was like, "I don't smoke weed and doobies anymore. I vaporize because it's better on the lungs." I was like, "Okay."
In 2011, the U.S. expectancy overall is about 79 years for men. That's like 76 and 81 for women.
Wow.
Yeah. Man, it's up there. Until you get to that age and you're like, where did my life go?
I'm gonna be so fucking handsome when I'm 79.
And finally, they did a Gallup poll of the happiest and the least happiest states. The happiest state,
It's California.
Hawaii.
Hawaii. Again, it's like 6 years running. Alaska was number 2, though, which I found surprising.
Well, that's because they don't know what fun is.
The least...
Well, the
Beyonce's
Palins
from-
alone make up like 10% of that
Cold
state,
there.
and
How
they've
could
been
you
doing
be-
very well
How can you be
lately.
happy there? It's cold.
Yeah, that's because whoever interviewed them, they were inside when they got the interview, and they're like, "Hell yeah!"
Exactly.
Warm equals happy. Cold equals sad.
And the states...
Wait a minute. Hello, Rob. Rob, do you want a Steve Caballero toy? Good, because you're getting one. You're getting a, which one do you want to give
Where are
me?
you from? Oklahoma. Do you want the limited edition Cab Dragon toy from Japan, or do you want the Hot Wheel toy that you can find at Toys R Us?
Yeah,
I know,
Put
right?
it that way.
least
Congratulations.
happiest, least happiest state, by the way,
Chode Island.
West Virginia.
Yeah.
West Virginia's bad? People having a bad time there?
Apparently.
Aw.
Bob Denver seemed to like it, but he seems to be in the minority.
Yeah, and he's dead. So yeah, no sense of well-being there. So there you go. There's your news.
Hey, Clayton. I'm just hanging out trying to give you some air fresheners and maybe a Hot Wheels toy.
Too bad, Clayton. You won
Yeah,
anyway.
too bad you're getting free stuff.
You have a car. You have a car? Yeah, there you go. You need some air fresheners for it.
There you go.
He did use the Lord's name in vain, but
That's okay.
Yeah.
People make mistakes.
It's-
Yeah.
I do that like every 10 seconds. I don't mean it. It's not
If you
personal.
don't understand, then it's just something that happens.
There you
Yeah.
go. No.
Yeah, we have to go.
Yep. Steve Caballero, it's always an honor to have you around, and I can't believe I have a job, and I can't believe that you're 52 and you're still pretty good on a bike. And fuck you for your skateboard insult. If I was to go to jiu-jitsu right now in therapy, I would be probably driving to Venice to get a photo to shove it up your ass. But I will do that later on in the week.
When
Thanks.
Skatercross comes, we'll see.
We will see.
Yeah.
All right, don't die.